Hi, and welcome to my new video series called Damn Dandy Decks, where I introduce you to my Magic the Gathering EDH Commander Decks and tell you why they are so damn dandy.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Kyora, Sovereign of the Deep, one of my very first commanders and my definitely most favorite one. As you can probably tell, this is my C-platter deck, carrying all about Kraken, Leviathans, Octopuses and Serpents. Which I'm going, for the sake of the video, shorten to just Kraken, which is going to be much easier for me. As my brother introduced me to Magic and I was supposed to pick a precon from all of the precons that already existed, as any new player I was pretty overwhelmed. But once I saw the Reap the Tides precon, I was already sold. And since then, this tribal deck has been my favorite tribal archetype ever. Now, I enjoyed Reap the Tides as a land for a precon to get into the game, don't get me wrong, it was very nice, easy and straightforward, but once I started upgrading the deck, I thought it was time to switch it up. So I would suggest we take a look at Kyora, Sovereign of the Deep, the new commander, next. Kyora's rule text consists of a bunch of words that can be dumped down to play Kraken, look at the top cards of your deck equal to its mana value, cast a spell that costs less for free. As you can tell, this is pretty much it. A very honest game plan, standard Simic bullshit, but we'll get into the cards in just a second. First, let's take a closer look at the intricacies of the deck. For better presentation, I've pulled up the architect side of the list, and since the deck is Simic, we will need a lot of lands. That's why this deck runs a casual 37 lands. Already a bunch, but not a max in my opinion. That's because we want stuff to grab off of Kyora's trigger. And with all of the ramp we play, we don't even need that many lands. I don't know about you, but when building a deck, choosing your ramp pieces just feels...
Hold on, yeah, I can teach that bitch my language like Rosetta Stone, yeah, for that bitch one time.
Other than that, we have no abundance of creatures to put onto the battlefield. Most of them providing the top end of our deck, as all the cool Kraken should cost more mana to really maximize the potential of Kyora. Which is also the reason I've cut stuff like Nadir Kraken, as we use our mana in the early game for our utility and not have mana to spend for blockers. Also, do not forget that Kyora can whiff on her trigger, which we would like not to happen, so the more the Kraken cost, the better they are for us. This version of the deck is much more developed than my previous strats in earlier stages with those upgrades, therefore I'm not shy to run stronger or saltier cards, and here follow my top 5 most impactful Kraken that when they hit the battlefield, when Kyora's there, the whole pot will... So when talking about my top 5, of course I want to start a list with AC Tyrant of Gaia Strait. As our old commander, we run a bunch of lands, right? And basically AC turns our big deck into an absolute nightmare of a cycling deck. Next up, there's something quite terrifying, which is the Banfic Anomaly. Now that is an amazing Eldrazi, because it creates a huge monstrosity of a monster of the best creature on your board. Or one that you would like. For the third spot, we have a creature called the Spawning Kraken, which is a tribal piece, I understand it, but I still wanted it on this list right here, because, and as you may read, it's quite insane. Every connecting Kraken will create a very chill 9/9 Kraken creature token. Every time I've played it, it got instantly removed, it lived 1 turn max, and I still got 1 or 2 9/9s, which for 6 mana is still crazy value. But 1 and 2, I've got 2 of my favorite creatures, which are a little saltier. If you are desperate, you will need an ace up your sleeve. And that ace up your sleeve, on spot 1 and 2, are Koma World Eater and Koma Cosmos Serpent. Both of them are actually just terrifying, period. If they are not removed immediately or the turn after they've been played, they will be a problem and your playgroup will hate you for playing them. Which might happen anyway, but you knew what you got yourself into when playing Simic, so what are we kidding here, really. The rest of the creatures boast supportive commander tools or make use of our mana and are just great pickups from Kyora. Next to our creatures, we can pretty much sum up the rest of the non-land cards into different card piles that enable our deck, mainly ramp and utility. I'm trying to keep it short, but there are a lot of great Simic things to include here. Mana artifacts and ramp spells to accelerate our game plan goes without saying. Anyway, the sauce. The source, my guy. The source, my guy, isn't playing Simic itself, because yes, I will pay 3 mana to play an enchantment that does nothing but accelerate my mana base on turn 3. Yes, I will pay 4 mana to play another enchantment that does nothing again to double up all my draws, which we still have an insane amount of, even if we are not running AC as our commander. My guy, the source isn't running Tetioma Benfic Druid, not because she's a serpent, because she is not, no, but because she's 5 mana and such a good pickup off of our other Kiowa triggers. Yes, I will play the source by playing Return of the Wild Speaker because it's such a good green staple. It profits off my greatest kraken, it draws me a bunch of cards, it buffs my entire board, it's a finisher, it's draw, it's double up for Teferi's Aegis Insight. It's everything I've ever wanted in a deck, my guy. The source isn't playing Simic itself, it's big, it's green, it's stompy, it's blue, it's everything I've ever wanted, my wildest dreams and more. It is Simic. Don't even let me get started on the virtue of knowledge. Let me let you in on a little secret from one Magic player to another. Doubling stuff in MTG is absolutely bonkers. I know, no one has ever heard of this before, but here's the story. You're going to get the turn, you're going to untap your 4 lands, you're going to play another basic, you're going to tap out to play the Virtue of Knowledge as an enchantment, right? You're immediately going to pass the turn, and in their eyes, the eyes of your opponents, you're not even the threat, because you haven't played a single creature the entire game, you have 40 HP. HP is a resource. You can drop HP, no one cares, don't even play the creatures, you don't need blockers, you just take it, because you have played the 3 enchantments that I've already talked about. And when the rotation happens and everyone passes their turn and you get to untap alive with the enchantment in place, here's what you're going to do. You're going to wreak havoc on all of these heathens. Listen, you're going to exile stuff with Kiora, you're going to draw a bunch of cards, you're going to create double the tokens from your creatures. You need a Frankenstein's monster? How about 2? You're going to bounce stuff like the Rakdos player bounces on his 4 lands for the entirety of the game because his mana screwed again. See, Virtue of Knowledge is not a secret. It's just that nobody bothers to read all of those words. One evening, I was going through my collection, looking for cards, anything that I could upgrade my decks with, but there wasn't anything new, there wasn't anything exciting, I was stuck upgrading my decks. I went on the couch, I was going through my binder, and then the realization hit me when I saw that one card. I'm playing blue. The hardest challenge in playing Commander is not building decks that have the greatest synergies or the greatest 2-card combos to tutor for. The hardest challenge is to not put 4 Soarings into your deck and then gaslight your opponent when they discover them. As a blue player, it's my responsibility to cheat the system here. And with that, duplication spells solve all the problems. Imagine every legendary kraken that we've talked about, just twice now. Enough blue shenanigans. You clicked this because you like Kraken, so let's talk about the Kraken support pieces. So, what do Kraken bring to the table, making them so interesting? Truth be told, there isn't a ton of support, but the support we do have, oh, it is cracked. You have seen the spawning Kraken to get an idea, then there's also the Serpent of Yawning Depths to make it easier to swing, but in reality this list lives and dies with 3 crucial, similar cards that make these Kraken lethal. Starting with Slyn Border, it's an 8-cost Kraken that we can kick for 2 mana to have an asymmetrical board wipe. It came with the precon and I considered it a pretty strong card when I started playing. Then I noticed that the precon also came with Whelming Wave, the same bodiless effect for only 4 mana. Okay, that card is already bonkers strong in my opinion, but the precon also came including a copy of Eternal Witness. You simply play Whelming Wave on 1 turn, and then you can grab it with the Eternal Witness on another turn, creating an ongoing 7 mana asymmetrical board wipe loop. Then with Final Fantasy, they brought us the Summon Leviathan card. This functions as the same asymmetrical board wipe, while still protecting our beloved Kiora, as it names Murfolk as well, which Whelming Wave for example doesn't, but Slyn Border does. Also, all of these creature types are typically rather rare, but Leviathan specifically gets some really cool cards which I'm happy to include in the future. So, in conclusion, Kiora Sovereign of the Deep isn't anything new to anyone. It's not the most flashy, insane or comboing off commander there is for this power level, but that's why I love it so much. It's honest, strong and doesn't usually get mana screwed, so you will always be part of your pot. Also, the Kraken have about the most insane artwork that you can take a look at while the Izzet player pops off for 20 minutes. Then that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If there are any wishes, recommendations or questions about the deck, I would love to read about them in the comments. Also, don't forget that YouTube offers a non-monetized support system, so if you would like and subscribe to my channel, that would mean a lot to me. Other than that, I'll see you around, hopefully for the next deck.